Nestled in the heart of Central Asia, Kyrgyzstan feels like a world apart, a land where epic landscapes tell ancient stories. Its name might sound distant and mysterious to many, but it holds the key to understanding a nation defined by unity, resilience, and a deep connection to its nomadic roots. To truly grasp why it is called Kyrgyzstan, one must first journey into its breathtaking terrain. Imagine soaring mountain ranges, their peaks permanently capped with snow, dominating over 90% of the country. These are the Tian Shan Mountains, often called the Celestial Mountains. And they are not just geographical features, they are the very soul of the nation, shaping the lives of its people for millennia. Venturing down from these dizzying heights, you find yourself in lush, green valleys carved by powerful rivers. These fertile pockets of land are where life thrives, offering grazing pastures for vast herds of sheep, goats, and horses. The air here is crisp and clean, carrying the scent of wild herbs and the distant sound of rushing water. This is a land of dramatic contrasts, where serene alpine lakes like the magnificent Issyk-Kul, the world's second-largest high-altitude lake, reflect the jagged peaks surrounding them. The deep blue waters of Issyk-Kul never freeze, earning it the name Warm Lake and making it a cherished oasis amidst the towering, icy giants that guard it. This powerful interplay of mountain and valley is the backdrop for the Kyrgyz story. In the north of the country, nestled in the Choy Valley at the foot of these incredible mountains, lies Bishkek, the capital city. Unlike the ancient, timeless feel of the countryside, Bishkek is a city of wide boulevards, Soviet-era architecture, and vibrant green parks. It's a place of bustling markets, modern cafes, and a youthful energy that speaks to Kyrgyzstan's future. Yet even here, the mountains are ever present, a constant, majestic reminder of the wilderness that lies just beyond the city limits. Bishkek acts as the modern heart of the nation, but its pulse is intrinsically linked to the ancient rhythms of the mountains and the nomadic traditions they have nurtured for centuries. This incredible geography has been both a fortress and a crossroads. The mountains have protected the Kyrgyz people, allowing them to preserve their unique culture against waves of empires and external influences. At the same time, the valleys and passes have served as vital corridors for traders, travelers, and armies, connecting east and west along the legendary Silk Road. This duality is central to understanding the Kyrgyz identity. It is a nation forged in isolation and yet deeply connected to the wider world, a paradox that is beautifully encapsulated in the very meaning of its name and the history it represents. The journey to understand Kyrgyzstan begins here, in its awe-inspiring landscapes. The name Kyrgyzstan is a beautiful blend of two distinct linguistic traditions, telling a story of people and place. The suffix stan is Persian for land or place of, a common ending for many countries in Central Asia such as Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. It signifies a homeland, a territory belonging to a specific group of people. The more fascinating part of the name, however, is Kyrgyz. This word is believed to have Turkic origins, a language family that has shaped the region for over 1,000 years. Scholars and historians trace the name to the word Kyrk, which means 40 in Turkic languages. The 40 in the name is not just a random number, it is a powerful symbol of unity and origin. According to national legend, the Kyrgyz people are the descendants of 40 distinct tribes or clans. These tribes, each with its own leader and traditions, were scattered across the vast steppes and mountains of Central Asia. A legendary hero, Manas, is credited with uniting these 40 disparate clans into a single, powerful nation to defend their lands against common enemies. This act of unification is the foundational story of the Kyrgyz people, a tale of how strength was found in coming together. Thus, Kyrgyz can be interpreted as we are 40, a declaration of collective identity. This concept of 40 tribes is more than just a historical footnote. It is woven into the very fabric of Kyrgyz national identity. It speaks to a time when nomadic life required cooperation and mutual support for survival. In the harsh environment of the mountains and steppes, individual clans could be vulnerable. But as a united group of 40, they were formidable. The name Kyrgyz, therefore, serves as a constant reminder of this foundational principle. It honors the diversity of the original clans while celebrating the singular identity that emerged from their alliance. It embodies the idea that while each tribe had its own heritage, their shared destiny was more important. Over the centuries, the Kyrgyz people have faced numerous challenges, from invasions by powerful empires to periods of political instability. Through it all, the story of the 40 tribes has endured as a source of inspiration and resilience. The name itself is a call to unity, a reminder that their strength as a nation comes from their ability to stand together, just as their ancestors did. When someone says they are Kyrgyz, they are not just stating their nationality, they are connecting to a deep and powerful legend of solidarity that has been passed down through countless generations, a story that begins with the simple but profound number 40. If you want to see the story of the 40 tribes represented visually, you need only look at the national flag of Kyrgyzstan. Adopted in 1992, shortly after the country gained its independence from the Soviet Union, the flag is a simple yet incredibly meaningful emblem of the nation's identity. It features a bold red background which symbolizes bravery and valor, honoring the courage of the hero Manas and the countless Kyrgyz warriors who defended their homeland throughout history. Red is a color of life, of struggle, and of the fierce spirit required to thrive in the rugged mountains of Central Asia. It sets a dramatic stage for the central symbol. At the very heart of the flag is a brilliant yellow sun, a powerful image in a land where the sun's warmth is cherished, especially during the long, cold winters. This sun is not just any sun, it has 40 evenly spaced rays, each one representing one of the 40 ancient tribes that united to form the Kyrgyz nation. Every single ray is a tribute to one of the original clans, a visual promise that none are forgotten. It is a perfect, shining illustration of the name Kyrgyz, translating the Kyrk or 40 from oral legend into a modern national symbol that flies proudly over the country. Look closer at the center of the sun, and you will find another layer of meaning, one that connects directly to the traditional Kyrgyz way of life. Intersecting lines within the sun's disk form a stylized representation of a tunduk. The tunduk is the circular opening at the very top of a yurt, the traditional nomadic dwelling of the Kyrgyz people. It is the crown of the yurt, the point where the wooden poles of the roof converge. It symbolizes home, family, and the hearth. It is the opening through which smoke from the central fire escapes and sunlight streams in, connecting the family inside with the sky and the universe outside. By placing the tunduk at the center of the sun, the flag beautifully merges two core concepts of Kyrgyz identity. It combines the idea of the nation, the 40 tribes represented by the sun's rays, with the idea of home and family, the tunduk. The message is clear. Kyrgyzstan is the home of the 40 tribes, a unified nation that is also a family. This powerful symbol serves as a daily reminder of where the Kyrgyz people come from, a heritage of nomadic unity, family bonds, and a deep, unbreakable connection to their ancestral traditions. The flag is not just a piece of cloth, it is the nation's story told in color and shape. The story of Kyrgyzstan's capital, Bishkek, is a fascinating journey that reflects the country's own path through history. Long before it became the modern, bustling city it is today, the area was a strategic resting place along the Silk Road. Caravans laden with silk, spices, and other precious goods would stop here to rest and trade in the fertile Chui Valley. Its location made it a valuable piece of land, and in the early 19th century, the Khanate of Kokand, a powerful state in the region, recognized its importance. Around 1825, they built a clay fortress here named Bishkek to control the local trade routes and manage the surrounding Kyrgyz tribes. This fortress, Bishkek, was not a grand city but a functional military outpost. It stood as a symbol of the Khanate's authority in the region, a mud-walled stronghold in the middle of the valley. For decades it served its purpose, but the winds of change were blowing across Central Asia. In the mid-19th century, the Russian Empire began its expansion into the region, systematically challenging the power of the local Khanates. In 1862, after a fierce siege, Russian forces, with the help of local Kyrgyz volunteers who opposed the Kokand rulers, captured and destroyed the fortress of Bishkek. This event marked the end of one era and the beginning of another. On the ruins of the old fortress, the Russians established a new garrison and settlement. They kept the name Bishkek, but began to develop it according to their own imperial plans. The settlement grew steadily, laid out on a grid pattern that is still visible in the city's structure today. Russian and Ukrainian peasants were encouraged to move to the area, bringing with them new farming techniques and transforming the landscape. Bishkek became an important administrative and agricultural center for the Russian Empire in the region. A far cry from its origins as a simple clay fort, the city's identity would change once more with the rise of the Soviet Union. In 1926, Bishkek was renamed Frunze in honor of Mikhail Frunze, a Bolshevik military leader who was born in the city. Under Soviet rule, Frunze was transformed into a major industrial and cultural capital for the Kyrgyz Soviet Socialist Republic. Grand public buildings, universities and factories were constructed, creating the modern city we see today. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the newly independent Kyrgyzstan chose to reclaim its heritage. The city was renamed Bishkek, a Kyrgyz adaptation of its historical name Bishkek, symbolizing a new chapter of national independence and a return to its roots. Kyrgyzstan's story is not just its own, it is a tapestry woven with the threads of countless civilizations, empires and peoples who have traversed its lands for thousands of years. The history here is as deep and layered as the rock formations of its mountains. Long before the arrival of Turkic tribes, the region was home to the Scythians, a powerful nomadic people known for their exceptional horsemanship and intricate gold artwork. These ancient warriors roamed the steppes from the 7th century BC, leaving behind burial mounds, or kurgans, filled with artifacts that offer a glimpse into their sophisticated culture. They were the original masters of the nomadic lifestyle in this part of the world. Beginning around the 6th century AD, a new wave of influence swept across Central Asia with the rise of various Turkic Khanates. These powerful nomadic confederations established vast empires that stretched across the continent, and the land of modern-day Kyrgyzstan became a core part of their domain. It was during this period that the Turkic languages and culture began to take root, laying the foundation for the ethnic and linguistic identity of the Kyrgyz people. The Turkic influence was profound, shaping everything from social structures and belief systems to the very name of the future nation. The region became a vibrant center of Turkic civilization. The 13th century brought one of the most transformative and destructive forces in history, the Mongol invasions. Led by Genghis Khan and his successors, the Mongol armies swept through Central Asia, conquering everything in their path. The established Turkic Khanates crumbled, and the region was incorporated into the vast Mongol Empire. This period brought immense upheaval, but it also led to a further mixing of peoples and cultures. Mongolic traditions and administrative practices blended with the existing Turkic customs, creating a unique cultural synthesis that is still visible in Kyrgyzstan today. The Mongol legacy is a complex one, marked by both devastation and eventual integration. Throughout these epic shifts in power, Kyrgyzstan's territory remained a vital segment of the Silk Road. This ancient network of trade routes was not just a conduit for goods like silk and spices, but also for ideas, religions, and technologies. Buddhism, Nestorian Christianity, and later Islam traveled along these paths, each leaving its mark on the local culture. The cities and settlements that grew up around the Silk Road became cosmopolitan hubs where merchants from China, Persia, India, and Europe could meet. This role as a crossroads of civilizations enriched the region immeasurably, making it a melting pot of global influences long before the modern era. The arrival of the Russian Empire in the 19th century marked a pivotal turning point in Kyrgyz history, setting the stage for the modern nation-state. As Russian forces expanded southward, they gradually absorbed the territories of Central Asia, including the lands of the Kyrgyz tribes. This process was not always peaceful, but it resulted in the region being incorporated into a massive, centralized empire. For the first time, the lands of the Kyrgyz were defined by formal administrative borders. Russian rule brought new infrastructure, such as railways and planned settlements like Bishkek, but it also imposed a new political order that disrupted traditional nomadic life and clan structures. The Russian Revolution of 1917 and the subsequent formation of the Soviet Union brought even more radical changes. Central Asia was carved up into distinct socialist republics based on ethnicity, a process known as national delimitation. In 1936, the Kyrgyz Soviet Socialist Republic was officially established, with its capital at Frunze, which is modern-day Bishkek. It was during this era that the name Kyrgyzstan became standardized and officially recognized on maps. The Soviet authorities promoted a state-sanctioned version of Kyrgyz culture, but they also enforced collectivization, which forced the nomadic population to settle and work on state-run farms, fundamentally altering their way of life. Life under Soviet rule was a complex mix of modernization and suppression. On one hand, literacy rates soared, modern healthcare was introduced, and industrial development transformed the economy. On the other hand, political freedoms were non-existent, and national identity was carefully managed to fit within the broader Soviet ideology. The Cyrillic alphabet replaced the traditional Arabic and Latin scripts used for the Kyrgyz language, and Moscow's control was absolute. The epic of Manas and the story of the 40 tribes were sometimes suppressed, seen as symbols of a feudal past that conflicted with communist ideals. The name Kyrgyzstan existed, but its deeper meaning was often overshadowed by Soviet identity. The year 1991 was a moment of profound transformation. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, Kyrgyzstan declared its independence, and the name Kyrgyzstan took on a powerful new significance. It was no longer just the name of a Soviet republic, it was the name of a sovereign nation, free to define its own destiny. This newfound independence sparked a cultural revival, a renewed interest in the nation's history, language, and traditions. The story of the 40 tribes, the epic of Manas, and the symbolism of the Tunduk were embraced with new vigor. The name Kyrgyzstan became a banner under which the people could rediscover and celebrate the unity and heritage that had been suppressed for generations. Today, the spirit of the 40 tribes and the nomadic heritage they represent are not just relics of the past. They are a vibrant, living part of Kyrgyz culture. The most iconic symbol of this heritage is the yurt, or boz uy, which means grey house in Kyrgyz. These remarkable dwellings, made of a collapsible wooden frame and covered in thick felt, are perfectly adapted to a nomadic lifestyle. They can be assembled or dismantled in a matter of hours, making them easy to transport as families move their herds to new pastures. Even today, many families in rural Kyrgyzstan spend their summers living in yurts in the high mountain meadows or jailus, continuing a tradition that is thousands of years old. Horsemanship is another essential pillar of Kyrgyz identity. In a land of mountains and vast steppes, horses have always been more than just animals. They are companions, status symbols, and essential partners for survival. From a young age, Kyrgyz children learn to ride, often becoming more comfortable on horseback than on their own 2 feet. This deep bond is celebrated in traditional equestrian sports and games such as kokbaru, a dynamic and rugged form of polo played with a goat carcass, which tests the skill, strength and courage of the riders. These games are a thrilling spectacle and a powerful expression of the nation's equestrian soul. Perhaps the greatest cultural treasure that binds the Kyrgyz people together is the epic of Manas. This colossal oral poem, one of the longest epic poems in the world, tells the story of the hero Manas and his quest to unite the 40 tribes. It is a vast encyclopedia of Kyrgyz history, values and traditions passed down through generations by special oral storytellers known as Manaski. The epic is so central to the national identity that it has been called the Iliad and Odyssey of the steppe. It reinforces the core message of unity found in the nation's name and provides a shared cultural narrative that all Kyrgyz people can look to for inspiration. In the end, the name Kyrgyzstan is far more than a simple geographical label. It is a capsule of history, legend and national aspiration. It tells the story of a people born from the union of 40 tribes, shaped by the high mountains and vast steppes, and enriched by centuries of interaction with empires and cultures along the Silk Road. It speaks of resilience in the face of Soviet suppression and a joyful rebirth of identity following independence. From the 40 rays on its flag to the living traditions of the yurt and the epic tales of Manas, the name embodies the unity and enduring spirit of the Kyrgyz people. It is the land of the 40, a nation forever bound by its powerful origin story. What are your thoughts on how a country's name can shape its identity? Share your ideas in the comments below. If you found this journey into the heart of Kyrgyzstan interesting, please share this essay with others who love travel and history.